4 years of life spent building, growing, falling in love, learning to appreciate every little detail about new people and a new place until it felt like home. And then one day, it's over. The people leave, and you're hollow. But days keep passing, and even though there's still so much you could have done, all that you can do is move on to the next thing. But how do you move on? Four years ago, I climbed out of that window and took flight. It was my first lucid dream, and as I circled the tree outside, letting my hand brush against the moonlit leaves, my heart began to reopen. I remembered something long forgotten, that imaginations, intuitions, and dreams are all as real as you allow them to be. The world of spirit whispers wisdoms often ignored. Throughout the last 4 years, there's been one image constantly moving through my mind. So much so that I have repetitively drawn it, wrote about it, physically done it, and even animated it. It's an image of me falling, belly down, full commitment. Recently, when the image comes to mind, I'm consumed by a familiar feeling from childhood. The feeling of jumping off a couch into a pile of pillows or throwing myself into a water slide only to jump back up and do it again. When those feelings first came to mind, it saddened me because those days are over. In many ways, graduating college means saying goodbye to childhood. With this transition comes a full responsibility over one's life. Rather than falling into couch cushions, we fall into work routines, healthcare costs, car payments, and a society riddled with injustice that prioritizes profit over health and endless taxes that feed into that system. It's paralyzing to think about what we're falling into. How do I move on from this? I turn to spirit in search of guidance. How do I find closure with childhood? I asked. After some time, a cryptic voice came through me. How do you say goodbye to childhood? You say hello again. You say hello again. So I packed my bags and headed to my childhood home to spend some time saying hello to one of the most quintessential parts of my upbringing. The trampoline. and then it struck me. For 4 years, I had been interpreting the image of falling completely wrong. The whole time, I was focused on what I was falling into. Whether a trampoline or taxes, I thought the image represented a full commitment to whatever destination I was headed towards. I had restlessly worked to create the ideal landing by focusing on what was coming, what I was becoming, obsessing over outcomes. But at the end of 4 years, out came a person far different than I could have ever envisioned. Upon reflection, I realized that the most defining moments of the last 4 years were all things that I didn't plan. The quirky roommates that grew into siblings, the unique friend groups of endless laughter, the professors and books that shifted my perspectives, the hobbies that consumed me, and the deepest emotional peaks that showed me what it means to be alive. When hanging in the air above the trampoline, the entire idea of moving on revealed its ridiculousness. Life is never gonna be about moving on because there is nothing to move on to or from. All you have is this split second right now, hanging in the air, falling. Maybe the art of living is not about creating outcomes. Maybe it's not about planning who you should be and how things should go. Maybe it's not about moving on or putting faith into what you are falling into. Maybe it's learning how to fall. Committing oneself fully to every moment of this drop. And the fall is only as good as your trust in gravity.
Woo!